one. Hey guys, Wagwan. Welcome to another great episode of the Bourbon Jamaican with Brady the Great. Rapping Nukes is out doing the family stuff. So we'll be driving today, and we got a special lineup.
Yep. So this is a follow-up to our top 10 bourbons of 2024. This will be our top 10 ryes of 2024. So same thing. If you missed the bourbon video, go back and check it out. But we weren't able to coordinate a meetup before everybody got sick, and then later went on vacation. So I conducted a blind. I did a lot less ryes than I did bourbon, though. I only had 10 ryes. No honorable mentions for the ryes. So we got our top 10 ryes of 2024.
Got no honorable mention. I should have brought it.
What's that?
The Parkers.
Yeah.
That would have been in the top.
Oh, that would have been number one. But that technically was a 2023 bottle.
True.
So I didn't put any store picks or anything like that. So that's how it kept down to 10. If I involved single barrels and stuff, it would have been in here. I didn't think that's fair, though.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to put a party source store pick if nobody lives around the party source.
Right. So as Brady's going through these, he'll tell you a little bit more about it. Tell us about MSR, what's a good number on these, so that way we can make sure we're not overpaying the man for these bottles that should be regular price.
Exactly. Cut out second decker.
Yeah.
So number 10.
Number 10.
One of our favorite distilleries, local to us. Unfortunately, none of the bourbons made the list, but they do make really good bourbons. They're just, most of them are lower proof. If the high age ones are lower proof, I should say. So this is the new Riff High Note. This is the biscuit malt that we recently put a video out on.
Yes.
It's their malted rye whiskey. It's 109 proof, but they used a biscuit malt instead of their normal malt. This SRP was like $55.
Yeah.
You had to pick it up at the distillery, but you could buy it from anywhere. So they launched it online. They didn't ship it, but it was pretty available. I mean, you were allowed to buy, I think, 4 of these at a time. So they made a ton of them. I like it. Not enough to get a backup, but I like how unique it is. I remember with us talking about it being kind of Irishy.
Yeah. It's
been open for like a month. So going back to it for this blind, it's definitely evolved, but it still has that malty, Irishy fruitiness to it. That's really good.
I'm getting like a barrel smell, like we're in a Rook House smell in here.
It's a lot of whiskey in here. Number 9, another release this year that was a budget bottle. This is the Bullet 12. It's 92 proof, 12-year. It's a blend of 12 to 18-year MGP. I'm pretty sure we did a video on this when this came out. Wasn't a huge fan when I first opened this bottle. It was really dill forward. I remember it being almost like pickle juice.
Yeah.
But over time, it's slowly mellowed. It kind of reminds me of any other MGP where I get that kind of sweet tea note, but it's really tamed down at 92 proof. What I do like about it, though, since it's so high age, it's got a lot of oak. So it is nice to sit by itself, but it'd probably be more of a mixer for me. It was $50.
So
it was everywhere, too. Around here, at least, I know Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana. I mean, it was everywhere.
it's on the budget bourbon side, but it's still $50 is still kind of.
It's still hanging around. Yeah. When that first came out and I saw it was 12 years, I was like, oh, this won't stick around. I mean, it's been on shelves for 6 months, 8 months now, something like that. All right, so number 8, one of our other favorite brands, it's the KLUKE Toasted Rye. I know we definitely did a video on this.
Yes.
We compared this to last year's Michter's Toasted Rye, and we said that this was a close second to it.
Shout out to KLUKE.
Shout out to KLUKE. This is the batch 3 at 114.6 proof. Their bourbon may or may not have made our list. You guys got to check it out. But the toasted rye, I love this. And over time, it's gotten even sweeter. More of that toasted marshmallow is coming out, and more of the fruitiness is coming out. So it reminds me of like a slightly spicier version of the Michter's Toasted Rye now. It's the marshmallow, and then instead of the butterscotch, I'm getting like an orange and a cherry kind of thing. It's almost like a toasted old fashioned in a bottle. It's kind of how it tastes.
I think it was, for me, it was kind of a little bit over the place, but once you went through the flight, it definitely stood out. And putting it up against that Michter's Toasted,
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I would not be surprised if the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye. I'm talking that thing was delicious.
So that actually, spoiler, that didn't make the list. I put it in my blind at first, but it's really thin. It's really, really sweet, but it has no finish. And it was basically my number 11. I had 11 ryes to put into a top 10. So that's my one honorable mention. I will say, though, it is $60, so it is more than those first two. And it's not quite as good as those first two, but it's a sweet bomb. So, like, these are definitely for a rye drinker. That Elijah Craig, if you like it, that's a stepping stone to the Michter's Toasted Rye.
All right, so definitely like an
And a stepping stone to the KLUKE. If you're interested in the KLUKE, it's $110. So if you're not sure if you want to spend $110, you get the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye at that $60 mark. And if you love it, that KLUKE's a step up.
Okay.
It's kind of how I would describe it. But I agree, though. I love that Elijah Craig. I mean, I've blown through half that bottle.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good on its own, not in a blind, like we were saying earlier. Back to another one of our local brands. This is the new Riff. Now, I said I wasn't doing single barrels, but this isn't a pick. This is a normal shelfer single barrel. So yes, they're all going to be different. But I wanted to highlight this because I know the bourbon junkies have talked about this recently. New Riff had only done 4 to 5 year picks in the past. Every barrel they did picks of or put on the shelf was between 4 to 5 years. Well, they announced earlier this year that they're going to do 6-year picks now. So this was the first shelf bottle single barrel that was 6 years as a rye. And they put it at the distillery. And then now starting in 2025, all of the single barrel new Riffs you see like this on the shelf are going to be at least 6 years instead of at least 4.
So I have an 8-year and an 8-year rye.
Right. So the 8-year rye is 100 proof, and this one is cash strength at 117. So we're going to start seeing these 110 to 120 proof ryes at 6 years for $60 on the shelf.
You can't beat that.
You can't.
And it's absolutely good.
This is fantastic. This is the one that we tried that has the licorice note. It tells you on the side.
Oh, you got it signed?
Yeah, I got it signed too while I was at the distillery. It tells you on here it's 6 years, 1 month. It said sweet vanilla, black tea, licorice, and blue fruit. Dead on. It's like blueberries and black licorice and sweet tea. It's so good, and I can't wait to try more of the 6 years, especially the bourbons.
It's
the
like
6 year.
Manhattan.
Yes. It was really good. So number 6, Kings County.
Ooh, out of New York City.
This is the first rye I've ever had from Kings County.
Oh.
We've done several other bourbons. They call their rye Empire Rye.
Yeah.
Same thing as the bourbon where it's 80-20, but it's 80 rye instead of corn and then 20 malt. This is batch 9. It's 122 proof.
Yeah.
This thing is like, this is so dense, and it's really, really sweet. It reminds me a little bit of that Michter's Toasted Rye, but it's more of a single malt to me. It's really like heavy coffee, and then it turns into like a butterscotch note. I mean, it's dessert in a glass. When you drink this, it's almost filling when you drink it.
I feel like these were diamond and rough. So I got a lot of family up north in New York, and my cousin actually brought me a bottle of this from Kings County because I kept hearing Kings County. That's so familiar. It's like, yeah, distillery in New York. I'm like, what? So it was pretty neat to see them expand, and you're not only getting it up north. Now we can get it in the south. We see it pop up here and there, a couple local mom and pops.
Yep. I had to get this one off a seal box earlier in the year. They don't ship to Kentucky anymore, seal box. So this is from a while ago, but I think it was $100. Really good. Obviously, I can't get the next batch because they don't ship to us anymore, but we do get the bourbons here. The ryes we don't, but I'm sure we will in the future. These are younger too. They started making the ryes after the bourbon. Okay. So all the bourbons we've been drinking have been like 6 to 8, and I think this is like 3 to 5. So years old. So we'll start seeing them more often. Now we're in the top 5.
Uh-oh.
Number 5 for the year, Prideful Goat.
There we go.
Another one we did several reviews on this year. This is the 8-year cash strength. I was gonna throw the rum finish in the blind, but that's so wacky.
That's off the wall.
That I was like, it's gonna stick out, and if I'm in the mood for rum today, it's gonna score high, and then tomorrow if I'm not in the mood for rum, it's gonna score low. So
shout out to Kendall. You know, he put Chris, aka Dropping Nukes, and Brady onto these at a tasting, and you know, we try to find them anywhere we go, especially this. So this one is kind of out of the picture for now. What I'm sure more will come along, but the rum finish is absolutely great. I sip on it. I keep a bottle of it open.
As you can see, I got a couple over here. We did the 6-year last year, and then they actually had a 6-year single barrel hit Kentucky, the first one ever, so I got that. But this was on seal box, and I got this one at the party store. So this is 8 years, 122 proof MGP, and it was $80.
MSR.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
All right. Well, that's getting into the top. Well, that's top 5, so let's keep it rolling.
Number 4, brand we kept talking about, Michter's. This is the normal barrel strength rye, the not toasted. I got the toasted hiding back there. It's running low.
Toasted didn't make the cut.
The toasted, they made in 23, and they won't make it again until 26. So I got to make that last 2 more years. No, I'm kidding. I won't be able to buy another one for 2 years. But this one they make every year. They are single barrels, but they're always in that 108 to 115 proof. This one's 110. They're very consistent. I know it's a single barrel, but I've never had a bad one of these. Sometimes they're slightly sweeter than other single barrels, but this one is, what I think is interesting is it's very reminiscent of the Prideful Goat. These, when I drank these in the flight together, I almost thought they were the same thing. So it was a coin flip for me between the two.
You can't go wrong with sweet.
Sure. So, I mean, but that's a fair point to mention, though. This was slightly sweeter. This is 110 MSRP, but these go for like 200 secondary. So if you can't find this is almost identical, and this is $80. So, just for reference.
Learn something every day.
Number 3, my favorite distillery in the world.
Of course.
It's the Heaven Hill Grain and Glass Rye. A lot of people were kind of talking crap about Heaven Hill when the Grain and Glass series came out, because these are all $100. They did a wheated, a normal bourbon, and then the rye. We reviewed them all. I really liked the wheated one. It didn't stand up in my blind. I mean, that in my bourbon of the year, that was all the way down to like number 17 or something like that. But this rye, the more it's opened up, the better it's gotten. It's really sweet, but it has a nice mintiness to it. It's like when you go out and get Italian food and they give you those chocolate mints, those the Andes mints, half chocolate, half mint. That's what it tastes like. Yeah. Real chocolatey, real minty, and it's got a little bit of a grainy finish where you taste that corn in the rye, because it is a high corn. It's a 24% corn, and I really like it.
Yeah, their stuff is good. When we did the blind on it, you know, even though they were all different, it was just each one was just unique in its own way. So if you can get all 3 of them, go ahead, line them up, try them out. If you get the individual ones, I'd say pick one of your favorite, whether it's rye or straight bourbon.
If you could only get one of the 3, I'd vote this one. Yeah. But the one other interesting tidbit about this is when I went to get this bottle and I attended the dinner at Heaven Hill, they paired this with dessert, and it goes really well with dessert because of that minty chocolatiness. Like, they served this with butterscotch pie, and it's awesome. If you have like some ice cream or some cake or something, you have a glass of that with it. It's great. Number 2, it's a brand I really love, but we don't get their stuff that much here.
Yeah, I see them pop over from time to time.
I had to get this at Total Wine in Louisville, so it is on the shelf, and I know it's a very shelf stable on the East Coast, but it's the Sagamore 9-year. We get the normal Sagamore cask strength and the double oak here. Sometimes we get the sherry. I love the double oak. I got the 8-year last year, fantastic. So when I heard the 9 was in Louisville, I'm texting my buddies and I'm like, hey, I need somebody to grab me this.
Oh, that's pretty neat. They got 1909.
So, they put a ton of detail into this bottle. I mean, they put it on the cork, they stamped it. There's a lot of history behind Sagamore. And this 9-year was great. I think the 8 might be a little bit better. I've not compared them. I'm going off memory. Yeah. But this 9 is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's also MGP, but it's the high rye and the low rye.
I think with a lot of
Blended.
bourbons or even rye whiskey, when you get past that 10 year,
Yeah.
you're starting to get a lot of that very like bitter, oaky.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's too much. Like for me, if you
Yes.
look in our description, like a 10-year bourbon is probably my favorite, which is Eagle Rare has always been my favorite. But
Right.
I've opened up to a lot more different stuff. But when you hit that just below that 10-year mark, like you said, the 8-year was a little bit bitter because you get a little bit more flavor to it. You get to actually experience all the notes,
Right.
and everything is there. Versus
Yep.
as you're getting higher, the proof is getting higher, which I know you like to burn.
Yes.
But you do really get to enjoy it.
That's a really good point, though, because the 8-year was really dense fruit. Like, it almost tastes like an old fashioned in glass. It's that orange and cherry and some caramel. This 9 has more oak to it, which I like oak, but I like the complexity of the 8 over this. Off of memory, like I said. But, yeah, I mean, it was excellent.
All right. Well, drum roll for his top tier, his number one favorite rye for 2024.
I know we
And
did
it
a
is-
review on this.
Boom.
The old Overholt 11. I'm shocked that this got number 1 purely because of the proof. It's 107.4. Everything on the bar top
Is higher.
is higher except for the bull at 12. That there's only out of the 8 of the 10 are higher than this old Overholt.
Yeah.
But it is so rich. It is a bourbon drinker's rye, that's for sure. And I enjoy a nice rye. Like I enjoy, the herbal and the sweet tea kind of thing that the MGP has to offer. But when you get a fruity aspect, that's game for me. So this has the oak, the vanilla, the caramel, and then it has a berry note. Like a really nice, like blueberry, raspberry kind of thing. And then you get your baking spice and a little bit of mint on the finish that blends with the fruit. And I love that. I love that fruit aspect. That's why I was so high on the 6-year new Riff, is that same dark berry kind of note.
But you got to actually enjoy it versus getting more of that bitter oakiness.
Right.
But
And I think the proof was good on this. That 107 was kind of perfect. Last year, the 10-year, we really liked it. It was 120, but it drank slightly hot. And it didn't have the complexity of this had. So I'm thinking they aged this on the lower levels, and that's why it's a lower proof. And I'm thinking because it sat so low and it spent so much more time just in the wood and not in the up high, going in and out, I think that it brought out the fruit flavors, just like they do with Eagle Rare. They do the same thing with Eagle Rare. It sits on the bottom, you get that nice fruitiness.
But I think these are all great selection and great choices. And for the price point, our highest one is how much?
The KLUKE at 110.
All right, so
yeah, I forgot to mention the price. This was also 110, and then the Sagamore was 90.
So from 55
all the way to 110.
All the way to 110. Great bottles. We've had the 200 bottle ryes, the 150 bottle ryes, but as you can see, there's something for everyone. Everyone's palate's different, depending on what you probably ate right before you went and took a sip. But just to enjoy in general, these are all great desserts before or after a good meal. But I hope you all enjoyed this great video. Again, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more content. And give us a thumbs up if you've had any one of these and you've probably got a different note or something. Drop something in the comment section. Tell us what you like about them. And thanks to Brady again for giving us this exceptional blind. And I hope you all enjoyed this video.
Let us know if there were any ryes that you guys tried that you thought should be in the top 10 that were not in this top 10. I'd be curious to hear that.
I'm sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Cheers.